Assalamu alaikum and welcome to season 5 of Press Pause with Jouhayna. On today's episode, we have Samara Iqbal. She is a lawyer. Welcome.
Hi, Jouhayna. So I'll introduce myself. So I'm a UK qualified solicitor. That's the term they use, which resonates as lawyer. And I'm a mum of 3. So I currently live in the UK, but I have a branch office here in Abu Dhabi. We deal with a lot of expats who have family issues and divorce and also inheritance kind of documents that we prepare. So yeah, it's quite a good market that we work with, and I come out to the UAE quite a lot. And obviously we got to know each other. So thanks for calling me on. Happy to have a chat with you today.
Of course. And you invited me on your podcast, and I stopped accepting to go to just anyone's podcast because I feel like everyone under the sun has a podcast. But I was going to come out of guest retirement for you.
No, thank you. But my podcast was more, I wanted someone that was an expert in their field, because it wasn't just about, because yours is obviously a different theme, you're finding out more. Ours was, what do you do, what you're a specialist in, and what kind of advice would you give our listeners? It's more kind of an expert in their field. So again, it's something that we're growing with and working with, and I think it's quite interesting. So again, it's quite new. I really like yours. I always watch yours. I think it was really nice to watch, and like when they're talking about things, and I love how you've set things up.
Thank you so much. It takes, there's a big team that nobody sees that's behind working the cameras, working the mics, because I'm the queen of delegation. So yes, and it's something I worked on for a long time to create. And you mentioned you interview experts. So for most people who don't know, I'm actually a senior air traffic control officer, on-the-job training instructor, and an examiner. And I've been doing that for the last 11 years in January. So that's what I would talk about on your show.
No, definitely. That's why I wanted to find out a little bit more about your background and how you ended up doing that as well, because then you're the first one. So I was really impressed by that. And obviously, I think you just really come across really well. So I think you'd be great to interview as well.
Yeah. Even the minute you walked in, we were vibing so hard. I'm like, okay, we need to focus and actually record content today. So before we begin your microbiography, we're going to start with a rapid fire round.
Okay, go ahead.
So just tell me the first thing that pops into your head and until the sound timer runs out. That's it. Ready?
Okay, go on.
And color.
Green.
Destination.
Paris.
Social media.
It's okay.
Dessert.
Chocolate. Any kind of chocolate.
Hobby.
Running.
Superpower.
Good communicator.
Emotion.
Highly strong.
That's the minute done. Thank you for sharing.
Very highly strong.
So that was the rapid fire round. Are you feeling warmed up?
Yeah, that was good. I think it's really hard because you want to say something, but it doesn't always come to your head. You're like, there is a word.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's whatever is at your pace. And the whole point of the podcast is to press pause. So,
yeah,
Definitely. So if we were to press pause on your present day, what does it look like?
My day is usually just go. So it's like early starts, 5, 6 a.m. whether it's UK or here. So I've been woken up by my youngest very early. Yeah. I just get up. That's it. I'm wired to that's it. I'm starting the day, even if I'm so tired. I get up. I always get ready. And one thing my sister taught me, she was like, just get ready and that's it. You haven't got time to be messing about, to drop the kids off and then come back and have a shower, get ready. So I wake up, shower, get fresh. Because even though you might feel really tired, get ready, feel fresh, look good. I like to be quite prim and proper. I do take care of my appearance because it makes me feel good. It's not about anyone else. I want to look good. Yeah. And I always say to everyone, I said, no one's going to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. Exactly. No one's going to give you that time to get your nails done or your hair done, or you want to lose weight or you want to do anything or you want to go somewhere. You have to make that time. You have to put that money and that effort in, because no one does anything for anyone. And even if you're in a relationship, you have to make that time. So even if you call that person selfish, I think it's important for that person, you make that time. So I do make time for myself, for those appointments. Just because I want to look and feel good. And that does reflect in my work. And then separately, I'm go. People are just kind of like, how are you doing it? So I'm just trying to do that, but I can multitask really well, which is really good. So I'll be like on a call, but looking at an email, but also doing cooking something or doing something, it's just like the whole day goes. Yeah. But normally it's like drop the kids off, by 9 o'clock, bang, what's going on? And it's just like a meeting, a call, emails, and I'll just give myself whatever's that day is going on, whether it's a quieter day or a very busy day, it's bang, bang, bang. I just get on with it. Yeah, and I'll make time to always cook. I love cooking for my kids. And I like the fact that, because my mum always cooked for us, even though she was a busy businesswoman. And just making time to get everything done. And in the evening, even though I want to wind down, sometimes I'll look at my phone and I'm like, I've got like 20 WhatsApps of clients and of people, because everyone likes to WhatsApp you now.
Yes.
And voice note you. And if they're more than 2 minutes long, I'll say, "Khalas, I'm not listening to this."
Make it a minute.
Yeah, so I always say to people, I can't listen to long voice notes. Like, I can do a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're telling me like what happened, just call me. Like, my attention just goes. But yeah, I just catch up with sometimes emails, but sometimes honestly, I put the kids to bed and I fall asleep for a bit, and it's like 2-hour nap and I'm up again. And it's like my brain's what? Yeah. Yeah. And I do have, like the weekend, I really enjoy the weekends because I try not to work. I try to switch up. I try to just chill, have a rest day, go out, just be more present with the kids, because I think Monday to Friday, it really is like just drop off, pick up, feed, put to bed, and then just get as much work as I can done during that day. So that's kind of like my life in a little snippet of how crazy it is.
You look great doing all of it. So good job. Tell us more about the work that you do.
So the work I do, I mean, I'll be honest, I love doing it. So it's not just like, yes, we want to get paid for a job, and that's important. We've got bills to pay, nothing's cheap. We want to have good things, nice things. But, I actually really enjoy my work, and I think that comes across to people. And I genuinely think that people are not cases. They actually are humans, and they're going through something. And they're struggling with something. So I will be dealing with the biggest CEO or director of a company, but that person's going through hell. Or that person has got lots of issues that no one knows about and they don't want to talk about. So we're sometimes that first point of call. So they will call, and sometimes they're being abused. It could be male or female. And it could be financial control. It could be emotional control. And they have suffered for so many years. And they're like, you know what? I just want out of this relationship. And I'm the first person that they're talking to. So they've never had therapy. They've never told even a friend or a family member. But they're like, you know what? This has happened now and I need advice. And then we do obviously have a network of people that we can refer them to for support, for counselling or therapy as well. And that's great. But obviously they tell us, and some people can't stop crying. Some people are just like, that's it, I'm done. What do I need to do? How do I get divorced? How do I keep my kids? Or she's done this, or he's done this, or my child's been taken away from me. So it's really, really interesting cases. And I love it. So every day I kind of wake up thinking, what am I going to get today? Yeah. Because A, I want to help them. And I've got that empathy and that connection with them. But B, I want to know also, like, I want to learn something new. I want to do a different type of case. And I want to learn and grow from that as well. But also I want to help that person. So I might not be able to do everything perfectly for them, but I want them to know that they've been seen, they've been heard, they've been understood. But also I'm trying my best to help them in whichever way I can. So even if I can't directly do something myself, I would always say, like, we can do this, all right, I'll look into it for you, etc., etc. And I think that's what people do. Like, I will always try my best, but I am one person, I am limited. I do have a really good team. But yes, day-to-day work, it's interesting. We do the general kind of all the UK work, the UAE work. I want a divorce. Can you do the financials? Or she won't let me see my kids. We write letters. We get interesting cases. I was telling you one before. Police being called, children being taken away. Women in very difficult situations. Men also in difficult situations. I had a call the other day. It was from the UK. I was here. And he was like, my dad is in his 70s. Look at this. It's really sad. My mum died about 10 years ago. He remarried. He wanted companionship. He married from back home. And she's come over. And we found out, she called the police on him and saying that he's abusing her. But then he told us that she was actually hitting him, an old man. And she's in her 40s and he's in his 70s. And I was like, that's really sad. And he's like, can you help my dad? Because now she's made all these allegations on him. And he can't sleep. Like, he literally is very emotional. He cannot sleep. Please help him. We want to come and see you. So I was like, no problem. So, like little things like that, even then, I want to help that man. I want to know what he's been through, because that's not fair. So whether it's male or female, you're a person. I'm here to help you. So whatever it is, when it's unfair, I really, really want to help that person. I had a lady, Scottish lady. She was in Abu Dhabi years ago, like 25 years ago. And he divorced her through the Sharia court. And she was talking about, he just married another Muslim woman. They were non-Muslims. Moved her in the house, kicked her out, divorced her. She had to run away back to Scotland, gave her nothing. And 25 years later, she's still crying about that. Imagine 25 that you've not healed. from what happened to you in Abu Dhabi, for example. And she was asking me, can I reopen a case? Can I do something in the UK? Can I do something over there? Because he's got a lot of money, he's happy. My kids are adults now, they're all like away. And she was still crying about it with her sister. And I really felt that. And I want to cry as well. I'm like, if you are still crying over that, like, you know, we need to try and look into this for you. So I will do whatever I can to help a person.
Yeah, and I can actually vouch for that because I connected you with somebody and then they're quite close to me. So they were sharing the experience that they had and you actually really do care because I was on the call with them as well.
Yeah, no, I tried my best, but even then I couldn't do... I tried my best to look into it, but like I said, I was still saying that you could speak to this person, you can speak. We are still limited as well.
Exactly.
You know, someone asked me yesterday, she was like, I'm in Hong Kong, he's American, and no, he's from Hong Kong, I'm American, I'm here, I want to get divorced, I know I can't do it in the States. I was like, you have to do it in Hong Kong. It just reminded me, I was like, I'll introduce you to a great Hong Kong lawyer, but she's British. She'll help you. Just get the advice, and she'll be like, thank you so much. That's it. I was like, I can't do anything. But they can, and she's very good. And she was like, thank you just even for listening to me because I'm so scared because I have no money as well. How much it's going to cost me. You know, like, these are the things people are worried about. Exactly. So even just to connect them to the right person, that might help them.
That makes all the difference.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's just, that's it. So it's just, I always will do what I can. And, you know, it's like you said, you have to kind of have that job satisfaction. You to like what you do. Exactly. Yes, like I said, we have to pay bills, but you want to just be happy as well. And yes, there's stressful days. There's days that are like, oh God, just want it to be over. But there's, you know, most days I just, you know, I have like my husband says on a Monday morning, he's like, you've got like a skip in your, what's that word? Skipping your step. You're like ready to go. And I am. Yeah. So he always says like, it's Monday, isn't it? I'm like, yes, it's a lot to do.
Exactly. So what would be 3 tips that you could give somebody that has just realized they need out from a relationship?
Good question. 3 tips would be before you decide to leave, definitely try and speak to someone about it. Could be a family member, a friend, anyone that you're comfortable with, a safe space where you feel heard, just so you can talk it out. So get that. So try not to make us your first conversation. It always helps if you can. When you go online, there's lots of information. It can be overwhelming. So if somebody wants to get a divorce, you know, you could read things online and say, well, where do I start? That's why legal advice is really important. So I would say, you know, if you can trust someone, if you're going through something, talk to someone, but also get some legal advice. Number 2, because that legal advice, whether you use that lawyer again or not, they will hopefully be able to kind of look at what's going on and give you some options. And as lawyers, we don't always have to do something. Sometimes it is just advice because that person might not even want to divorce, they're just considering it. And lots of men, and I have to say that, they do sometimes don't want to divorce. They just want to know it's not going well. What if we divorce? What if she takes the kids? What if she does this? How much do I have to give? And they just want knowledge, and knowledge is power because it's important to know that I'm preparing for this because it's not going well. And then they always come back as well. And usually it's women that file divorce first. Yeah, mostly women, because women are always like, that's it, I'm done. And while a man will think more before... and he'll think of the kids before he files. Yeah. So I always say get that legal advice, whether it's just advice, and then, you know, you've had it, and if you want to go back to it, you can. Who knows, you might not need it again, but at least you've had that advice. Legal advice, speaking to someone. Number 3, just embrace it. If you've made a decision, stick to it. You know, like, I want to like deal with this now. Like, that's it. And just find out what you can do. So just embrace it and don't hold back. And use, if it's a family case, because in my area, I would say whichever lawyer you go with, make sure you have a connection with them. Make sure that they really understand what you want. Because some lawyers will kind of push their agenda on a client, and it's not actually what she wants to do. So I see this all the time. So a man will say, oh, my wife said she agrees. She goes to a lawyer, next time you get a letter saying, no, we're not agreeing to this. And he's like, well, hang on, yesterday, she met this lawyer, she said it was fine, she was going to sign. So I'm not saying that she can't get legal advice or he can't, but then sometimes lawyers push their own agenda. So I would just say, just get a lawyer that you can connect with, understands what you want, and also wants to make the process I wouldn't say easy, but just work to what you want, not what he wants or she wants, because, you know, they have their own agenda. Maybe they might make some more money by doing X, Y, and Z, which is not needed. So I try to tell people, like, I can't take your stress away, but I can definitely help you through this journey. And I think that's why a lot of my clients feel happy, because they're like, she knows what I want, but she's explained it. And when they've done something which is a bit naughty, or they shouldn't have done that, and I'm dealing with aggression from the other side, I will also be direct with them, like, what are you doing? Like, you stop that as well. You're not helping yourself. So it's just having that good relationship.
Thank you for sharing all those tips. And then...
And I don't think I've ever spoken about... I've given those tips. You put me on the spot there. So it's good.
We press pause the challenge.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing all of that and sharing all the tips. I'm sure people who are tuning in would find it very helpful. So if we were to press rewind in your life, what's the first memory you can think of? And what your childhood was like?
Being young, probably lots of accidents. Oh gosh, yeah. I remember like in nursery, like going to parent-teachers meeting and hot tea falling on my hot tea falling on my leg. And then also I've got like scars here on my arms from accidents, and here just clumsy accidents. Like literally, I'd be playing and I'd be in hospital the next day. My mum was like, you were just accident prone. So she's like, we were just crying all the time. So I remember like my head here, I've got a scar here, so I keep my hair kind of to the side. Just running. It was Eid, and I ran and I had a new dress on, and I just banged my head in the door. And my dad had to like break the door. So yeah, lots of accidents, but also a lot of traveling. Dad took us out a lot, took us loads of places. He was great like that. And being in the UK, obviously we were quite young. Lots of memories with my sisters. When I'm one of 6, so we're quite a big family. And I've got a brother as well, so 7 of us.
Where are you in the lineup?
Number 3. So always it was like, which number are you? I was like, I'm number 3. So it was 6 girls, so mum kept trying until she had a boy. So she really wanted a boy. So my dad was like, relax. And then she was like, I really want a son, and bless. It's nice. But we're 6 sisters. And, it's nice because with sisters, you've got friends. So me and my older sisters were probably a bit closer in terms of age. So literally a year after each other. So we're very, very close in age. We went to school together, masjid, we did everything together. So I would just say lots of trips, lots of traveling, lots of just messing about with my sisters. Yeah. I can remember, yeah.
I only have 2 other sisters that I cannot imagine having more. Like,
it's nice, but because even when I was having my youngest boy, I was like saying to my husband, I wish it's a girl because she'll have a sister. Because boys do their own thing, she'll have like a friend, but it's what it was meant to be. But I think it's nice. But then one of my other friends, she was like, girls are divas. Like,
it depends. Like, it sometimes you get on really well with a sibling, and it doesn't really matter about the gender, Like, yeah, even with me, it's like we're 3, and since we were kids, I was always more close to...
So you're just 3 girls, aren't you? Yeah,
yeah. So I'm closer with the youngest sibling, and then the youngest sibling is closest to the middle sibling as well. So it's just like we just have our own little niche cliques,
yes,
amongst our own like sisterhood. So,
but we're the same. So we've got, because of the ages and stuff and the connections, everyone's got whoever they're closer to. Okay. So I'm pretty closest to my sister, who's 1 year older. But I kind of get on with everyone. But then I'm quite close to my brother, who's 12 years younger than me. So we get on. So it's different. Yeah. I think as you grow up, you might get close to one and another one, but we're all kind of generally quite fine. Yeah. I definitely have your little cliques.
Yeah, 100%. And then I was researching, and you studied Islam?
Yeah, so when I was younger, so before I became a lawyer, so I'd finished my law school, and then there's an opportunity to go to Syria. So this is before the Civil War, before anything happened. So back in, I would say 2007, 8, so like years ago. So I was very young then, and there was an opportunity to go through the university to study Sharia and to learn Arabic. And I've always been fascinated because obviously I grew up in a non-speaking Arabic household. Okay. So we learned like Urdu and things like that. Obviously English we learned at school. Yeah. So for me, I was like, I really want to learn it and where best to do it. So that back then it was like Egypt or Syria, you can go. Mm. And this was through the University of Winchester. Okay. So it was like a master's as well that you get at the end of it. So I'd go for like term time and come home every summer and kind of Christmas time. So I went over. I started studying, and it was really hard because I didn't know any Arabic. Okay. So yes, Urdu has a lot of words that are similar to Arabic, but it's obviously they use it in different contexts. When I got there, I was in a shop, and they were like shway, and I'd be like, okay, so I wanted milk, so they'd be like halib. I'd be like, yes, halib. And they'd be like khobz. I was like, yes. And literally like
you
learning everything, and I'd laugh as well because at once somebody came into the room because the AC wasn't working or something, and I was trying to say barid, like I wanted to barid. So I was saying baid. He was like baid or baid. It just making me, and they would just laugh, and I was like, like, what, this is embarrassing. It was like a child learning, but I did it. I persevered. It took a good year or two before I became a bit more confident. But it's very hard because I had to rewire my brain, who translates everything into English, to how would I say this in Arabic. So I literally had to learn to write. If you learn it as a child, it's easier because you just can say it, right? You just know. Like when someone writes English now, or I can correct, I'd be like, this is what I would say. I don't need to think, is that a noun? Is that plural? You know, with Arabic, it's like jama and, you know, is it like, you know, hiya, huwa, you know, like it was proper like fusha. So it was like proper nahu and sarf. So the teacher was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was like a professor from university, but it was so hard. I found the grammar really hard. So it took me a good 2 years to crack that and then be able to even write a sentence. But yeah, I persevered and I got much better. So even now, I think my Arabic spoken is okay. I'm not going to say it's great. My husband would say, you should speak more, you're quite good. Because they understand you. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like I'm speaking the Queen's English. I don't have an accent. So I'm like, I don't know. They're like, oh, so yesterday when I was speaking, I said to the policeman. Yeah. He understood me and he spoke back. And I was like, oh, good. So he spoke Fusha back.
It's going to help you if you decide to move here.
So yeah, so then I learnt Arabic, and alhamdulillah, that kind of helped me with the job here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. Like, you know, especially since your business is over here and in the UK, it will definitely give you the upper hand.
So when I actually went back to the UK after this Syria 4 years, did the masters, I still hadn't done my training. So as soon as I got back to the UK, I did my training 2 years, qualified as a solicitor. And then after that, I came to Dubai. I think I was still very newly qualified. And I remember meeting a lady, I met a few people, and she was like, you know what, I need you kind of to come here and, you know, because you speak Arabic, you're an English lawyer, you know, family law, like I need you to help with the family department. So I was like, okay, she was a British lawyer, so she gave me that opportunity and I started working, and it was hard initially, but I really embraced it. And that's when I was like, wow, this work's really interesting because there's so many nationalities here and everyone is just like, you know, like this or that, they don't know. So it was just really good, and they would show me papers in Arabic and I'd be like, yeah, I can understand that and explain it, what's going on. But also it was just a lot of hand-holding, lots of expats. It's a lot of it is support and hand-holding, but still working with the local lawyers as well. Because even back then we were classed as legal consultants. So it'd be like, oh, Auntie Mustashara, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm a consultant. So as a UK qualified lawyers or American lawyers, you have the Dubai Rulers Court give you a license. But what they do is they say you're still not an advocate. So which means is that you can't go before a judge, but you can like see clients, give advice, draft, like we do everything else, but you still don't have rights of audience, which means you can't address a judge. Okay. So still we had to instruct the local Emirati lawyers in their firm. So it was like we still would do the work, but instruct them. UK is similar in respect of I have rights of audience, but I instruct a barrister sometimes if I need a hearing. So we have a specialist, a solicitor and barrister. A barrister is just more of a specialist advocate. So he or she will fight the case. When you see on TV, they're like, you're lying, aren't you? And they do all of that questioning, cross-examination. We can do it too, but they're more trained to do it better.
Okay.
Here, so I would explain that to clients, like, I'm your solicitor. I have to instruct local counsel. So that's how I explain it. So I can do certain things, but they will have to do the kind of advocacy side or go to court, and they will have their own fee, for example. So they were like, oh, okay, we get it. And then that was very different then. So back then when I was working in Dubai, it was all Sharia law. So there was no kind of now non-Muslim, Muslim, civil court, nothing. So obviously post-COVID, everything's changed. But before then, there was none of that. So it was very much me telling clients, right, your spouse has filed a case in Dubai court. This is what they're saying. And, you know, they could bring home country law and they could get it attested. But it was very complex and hard back then. So it was really interesting work.
And how's it going? You have 3 kids. You mentioned you had 3 children, mashallah, back to back.
So alhamdulillah, when I was in Dubai, I was not married and I didn't want to, it's very hard to meet someone as well. You know, it's hard. So many people are here. It's mixed. So obviously I went back to the UK and I met my husband and, you know, we both kind of wanted the same things. He wanted to have kids too, with same age. And, you know, we just kind of clicked and got married like within a year. And he was like, come on, and after 2 months I was pregnant. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, I'm grateful because, you know, I did start late. So it wasn't like the normal age that people have in their 20s or early 30s. Like I did have them late. So I'm grateful that I was able to have kids and I had one. And then after a year, I was like saying to him, but I had him just literally before COVID. And then COVID happened and I got pregnant during COVID. So my second is a COVID baby. So they were like, okay. So I had my second. And then when she was 6 months, so I had a boy and a girl. That like nearly 2 years between us. That was like 2. When she was 6 months, I found out I was pregnant with my third, who's a boy. Yeah, so he's like, there's a year between them. Alhamdulillah, I'm done now. So I've got 3 little ones. They're getting a bit bigger now, but it's hard. Yeah. Very hard.
I can't even begin to imagine.
It's a big responsibility because I think having kids is one thing, but then I don't think you realise the responsibility you've got. And also you get a lot of mum guilt because I work a lot as well. You know, the guilt never goes. You know, you feel guilt even if you go for 2 hours with a friend. You're like, oh, my kids, you know. So it's that. But yeah, they're young. Alhamdulillah, my husband's great. He's a great support. I've got some help, you know, so it all does help. Yeah.
That's nice.
Inshallah, hopefully you might have kids in the future.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you. Every guest I've had on the show that has kids, I'm like, so tell me.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can. It's hard, but if I can do it, honestly, you can. But also, I'm very good with my time. I utilize time as much as I can. But anyway, I'd maybe leave that part out. But that was the word. Okay. That was another word. So everyone says, how do you manage your time? I just do. I make the time.
Yeah, and I agree, actually. I'm quite the same. I'll show you my calendar later.
You were showing me yours before. I was like, can you come on my show? So when you have kids as well, you really have to be like, right, wake up this time, do this, get their breakfast, drop them off, do that. Right, they're going to come back. I won't work that hour. Like, I'll do this with them. You know, so I literally have like a plan. Yeah. So when they come from school or nursery, like dinner time, chill, play with them, sit, no meeting. You know, like, so I'll make sure I try to get as much as I can done while they're out. When they're home, give them that time as well.
That's why I don't feel their productivity because you're like, this is the time I have to get into.
So I work super harder. Yeah. And then as soon as they've come, I still might need half an hour. Someone needs a call, something's going on. I try to be more flexible then. And then I make time for bedtime. So it's bath, bed, story, you know, and get them into bed. And then after that, if I need to work a bit more, I'll work a bit more to catch up. So that's literally how I do. So time management when you have kids. Yeah. And here, I think, especially in the UAE, I think there's a lot more help. And I think you definitely can have kids. You can get support. I think it's definitely the culture environment here are more catered for women to work and have kids. UK is a lot harder because you can't get accessibility to help as much. So you can't really get live-in help. Okay. And if you do get some help, they're very expensive. Yeah. So here it's a lot cheaper as well. And you can get a living over there. It's very hard. So I think, you know, and the more you work to pay for this help, the more tax you're getting paid. So you can't make the money. It's very hard. I've spoken to a lot of mums about this. So I think the UAE environment's definitely better if you have kids. Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, this is my anxiety. Because
you should have one.
I'm a time managing pre-planner. And I just was like, sounds, there's so many unknown variables. I was like,
it's intense. Don't get me wrong. I say the first year is intense. Because especially if you have your first, you're like, you just don't know what you're doing. So if you've got like your mum around or some support, someone's had a baby, and if you've got some help with you, you'll be okay. Okay. Because at least you get that break as well. You're like, right, baby keeps crying. Like, what's wrong? Baby hasn't been birthed properly. Maybe they've got like trapped wind, you know, because babies can't talk. So, it's a lot of crying. But then you learn. Yeah. So for me, by the time I got to my third, I was like an expert. So I was like, and I had 3 C-sections. So everyone was like, how did you do that? I was like, just I'm used to it now. I know the pain. And that's it. So yeah, it's hard. But you enjoy it and you just get on with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. So if we were to press fast forward on your life, what would you envision for your future?
I think just to grow as a person and also grow the business more. I never actually imagined all this stuff, you know, with an office here, an office there. Obviously, we've got 4 offices. Yeah. We want to maybe potentially, I've had an offer to have another office in another jurisdiction. And I'm like, well, not yet. Could happen in the future. So there's lots and lots of things that I've got planned, but I just want us to be very good at a very good firm with a good reputation, good quality work, good lawyers. We're happy, the team's good, we're growing, we're learning. As things change here as well, we're learning the laws here, learning the laws in the UK, working and just growing, but also having that balance too. So I'd like, as my kids get older as well, also for me, also to be able to have time to do other things that I manage a lot at the moment. And it's really stressful sometimes. I'm managing, you know, because my employees come to me for certain things and I've got, you know, my kids on one side pulling me from over there. Then I've got like new clients and I've got clients contacting me all the time. Other lawyers contacting me, other professionals, you know, it's just like constant. Yes. And I just like, I have a PA, so she's really good. Yeah, she's really. So she helps me. So I was like, this was last year. I was like, one of my good friends who's a lawyer, and she's got quite a lot of offices. She's like, you need a PA because you've given that person time and that person time, and like you've clashed them. I wouldn't even know who I gave a time to. Like, I'll call you at this time. Yeah, I'll meet you at this time. And I was like, just on over the show. And she was like, get a PA. She will tell you what you're doing every day, what she will plan it for you, because you can't keep up with it. You need someone to organize you. And that's helped me because I've got good time management like you, but it also helps me organize. So PA helps. Having some help helps as well. But like I said, yeah, growing, getting better, you know, stronger, and learning more. Yeah, developing more. I just maybe trying to, I think I probably want to slow down a little bit. So maybe not kind of have to do, like, manage everything. So maybe have more people doing certain things as we grow to kind of ease that pressure. I think I get highly strung and I get quite stressed on some days because there's a lot going on and everyone's turning to me.
I feel you.
It's hard.
Yeah. I have that same quality of, oh, everyone's panicking. What do we do, Joe? And I'm like, I don't know either.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, because if you're that person everyone goes to, it's stressful.
Yeah.
And you're like, and we don't have all the answers. Sometimes we're like, we have to ask so-and-so, or we'll come back to you. And then, you know, it's constant.
Yeah.
It's constant, yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your microbiography. And I loved getting to know you.
Yeah,
thanks for taking the time to literally press pause with you and have this conversation. For everybody tuning in, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. And here's a sneak peek for next week.
It would probably just be like falling over in front of lots of people and you just don't know where to look.
What is a skeleton in your closet? A very messy eater. So the key to marriage: get ramen on his shirt.
Yeah, make a mess.
I feel like my brain doesn't switch off. Most people don't guess I'm really funny. People think I'm really snobby. And I was the biggest people pleaser on the planet. I'm either all in or all out.